Now I know that title sounds a bit odd, but let me explain. You see, Super Mario World is probably the Mario game. So many aspects of future Mario games can be traced back to good old Mario World of 1990 or 1991. But we can't forget about the most important thing that can be traced back to Mario World, and that's the Lego set it spawned over 30 years later. So having access to these two versions of Mario World, a question dawned on me. Can I beat Mario World faster than I can build Mario World? Or maybe it's actually, can I build Mario World faster than I can beat Mario World? With that said, I set up timers for both of these activities and allow me to explain the trials that come with Lego gaming. Also, side note, one of these Charlies knows what time they have to beat. Take a guess at who that could be. Let's start off by introducing the game. Super Mario World starts off with Mario arriving in Dinosaur Land to rescue Peach. I can't believe that happened again. This is Dinosaur Land. Oh, I love Dinosaur Land. Checking out Yoshi's house, but for some reason the lad isn't there. I sure hope nothing bad happened to him. They turned the dinosaur into plastic, just like in real life. Wait a minute. This is the Super Mario World Mario and Yoshi Lego set. It is a solid set consisting of 1,215 pieces, and it even replicates Yoshi's tongue to the best of Lego's ability at least. This Lego set is split up into 15 different bags of Lego pieces, each varying in piece count. And Mario World is split up by the various castles that get destroyed in surprisingly brutal ways. Funnily enough, the first level I go to is Yoshi's Island 2, because let's be real, who went to Yoshi's Island 1? I'm gonna be honest. We start off from getting the one-up from the Koopas, and oh wow, it's Yoshi! Oh my goodness. I hope we see them again soon. It is important to note, when I am playing Mario World, I do not know how to speedrun this game at all in any way, shape, or form, and because I took the liberty of not playing this game on original hardware, although I could have, I decided to allow myself to rewind the game as I so please, because yet again, you can take off pieces of the Lego set too. That's sound logic. With the first level completed, we now move on to Yoshi's Island 3, and honestly, this is probably the level my childhood self remembers the most. There was something about those platforms that shrunk down to one block that always got me as a kid, but now I'm a gamer, so I will never fail these ever again. Or my name isn't c.com, which you knew because you're subscribed, right? Yeah, subscribe to c.plays too, right? Moving on to Yoshi's Island 4, and I think, is that the Kirby Spike Ball? No, it would never be. I know it too well. I just realized like 1% of my entire audience actually gets that joke. Probably less. But Yoshi's Island 4 goes about the way you would expect it to, and now we are on to Iggy's castle. I wonder how Plastic Yoshi's doing actually. Starting off with bag 1, and oh my god, what is this Lego set? I might be cooked. This may be a thing with newer Lego sets that I just haven't gotten exposure to, but they have giant pieces in a nameless bag that are vital for the construction of the set, and they're not even labeled. I mean, they have a symbol, but how in the world am I going to figure out that I need to pull it out of the bag with this? What's going on? The difficult part about building this Lego set is that I have absolutely no sense of progression. At least with Mario World, you have the individual castles. With these, each of the bags can be wildly different in size, so I don't even know if I'm getting close. All I'm doing right now is filling out the structure of the Lego set with these tall, long, vertical pieces that I've never seen in my life, and what do you mean I'm already at the castle? Iggy's castle might be one of my most memorable Mario World stages just because of the grates that you punch the Koopas through and the giant blocks that try to crush you. This gave little baby Charlie a lot of trauma from the sky. I almost died there. I'm gonna just keep it 100%. If the ceiling fell right now, would you survive? Are you in that little nook? Oh, Iggy's dead. And after defeating Iggy, the property value goes way down. But speaking of property value, the Lego set is starting to take shape. It's been about 12 minutes and I'm only done bag 1, but making good progress, honestly, making really good progress. Moving on to bag 2, and we have the light green pieces that are used to make the bushes in the background. Thankfully, the instructions were very easy to read, and I was able to complete it quite quickly. So surely only 20 minutes in, I haven't reached the second castle yet, right? What do you mean? After Mario's adventures in Iggy's castle, he then moves on to Donut Plains. I love that Mario Kart track, where I managed to get my hands on a cape power-up and promptly skip the entire level. I love speedrunning. Donut Plains 1 then turns into Donut Plains 2 as we go underground for a bit in an auto-scroller. I hate this. I hate this. I hate this. You will never hear the end of me because I hate auto-scrollers. Only the bad ones. Mario Wonder's auto-scrollers were good. I'm gonna say it. I'm going off on a limb. I like Mario Wonder more than Mario World. Is it recency bias? I don't know. I played both games. This bit's gone on long enough. But after Donut Plains 2, I then go to the Donut Ghost House. Tim Hortons. And as a kid, I didn't really understand the whole premise of a ghost house. I thought it was a simple move left to right kind of level. But now now the grown-up me realizes that P-switch doors are only there to fool you and cause you severe distress, and that the coin blocks actually point you in the direction to go. Thanks, Nintendo. Thank you. So after escaping Tim Hortons, we then go to Donut Plains 3, which looks absolutely nothing like the Mario Kart track. I miss them. I miss them so much. This level makes use of on and off rails, which are pretty intense given that this is like the 6th or 7th level in the game. I don't know, I'm not counting. But thankfully I get my hands on a cape power-up and promptly, yeah, you know the rest. Then we go into Donut Plains 4, and thankfully I have the cape power-up, so I promptly skip that. Wait, who is that guy? That is the coolest hammer bro I've ever seen in my life. What were we talking about again? Oh yeah, Morton's castle. To give this castle props, it is a very good vertical platforming segment, but that's about it. Because after Mario Goomba stomps the castle and moves on to Vanilla Dome, we have to talk about another thing that's vertical. Yoshi Lego set. The problem with the earlier stages of this Lego set is that a lot of it is very technical as you're setting up the base to have Mario and Yoshi be added on later. For some reason, I did not think that was how the set worked. So here I am making contraptions that a little me would associate with Tick-Tock Clock from Mario 64, while I'm simultaneously rushing through this entire thing. But thankfully it isn't too long until A, I install Yoshi's feet, and B, I get the mechanism for moving operational. But I do hope the digital counterpart of Yoshi is doing well and not running for his life in the bottom of the Vanilla Dome. Because he is. The levels in Vanilla Dome are quite odd. All of them are very maze-like and obviously underground, but for some reason there is another ghost house here and it has these giant green balls of death. I have not seen them anywhere in any other Mario game, but I do hope they make a return someday. After clearing the ghost house, we go to Vanilla Dome 3 and oh my god, lava? In World 3? And you even got the Blargs? I think that's their name in this game. I'm not going to check that. But after carefully soaring over top the lava with Yoshi and snapping a few thumbnail photos, we make it to the 4th level of the Vanilla Dome, which is in space with giant beanstalks. I don't know what's going on anymore, but I think questioning the realism of the Mario series was probably my first mistake. But Lemmy's Castle is the one next up on the list, and this one tries to be all puzzly, and it does not work. Because why have puzzles when you have a P-switch and a dream? Mario makes his way through the rising and lowering labyrinth of stone before playing whack-a-mole. How fun. You know what else is fun? Building Legos. So while Mario makes his way to the cheese bridge, let's check up on the Lego. Because it's been about 40 minutes and being on bag 5 of the Lego set does not have the best pace about it. But at the same time, neither does beating Lemmy. This next bag of Lego pieces I was so certain was for building Mario's head, but it turns out Yoshi's torso is surprisingly Mario shaped. Thankfully, Yoshi's torso gets theoretically stitched on successfully, and don't forget his little arm, which is orange in this game? Okay. Wait, why did I say game? This is real life. Or is it a game? It is very ironic that a place called the Cheese Bridge is filled with buzzsaws, specifically to stop me from using the cape power-up and promptly skipping the entire level. I do skip half of it though. Take that, Nintendo. And after the Bridge of Cheese, then we're on to the castle? Oh, okay. You know, it's pretty sad that my favorite Koopaling, Ludwig von Koopa, gets probably the lamest boss fight in the entirety of this game, which is still the best boss fight out of any of the new Super Mario Bros. Games, except DS. Those ones were bangers. After dealing with Ludwig, we send the castle into space. Oh my god. The poor little mountain. Who did this? It was me. So after severely concussing a mountain, and before we go into the Forest of Illusion, let's take a look at the other Forest of Illusion, differentiating shades of green in Lego pieces. So after assembling the torso of Yoshi, we're now moving on to the face of the lad. And yet again, I thought this was Mario. But let me check back in on Mario World. What do you mean I'm already out of the Forest of Illusion? Wait, and who's that red Yoshi? You see, the Mario World Forest of Illusion is probably where a lot of first-time players get stuck on this game. And rightfully so, because the exit to the Forest of Illusion is pretty stupid. But as I try to find every single alternate exit, including the one in the ghost house, which isn't Tim Hortons, that's the one in Donut Plains, take notes, take note, I end up finding this odd bonus stage and finding an entrance to Star Road. I didn't know it led to Star Road. Oh, banger alert, banger alert. But that's not before I clear a little tiny castle and open up the path there safely. In Star Road, I just so happened to come across a red baby Yoshi, and after feeding it a mushroom, it becomes the GOAT of all time. I would like to introduce you all to Harold. The reason that Harold is such a good Yoshi to have around is that no matter what Harold eats, Harold spits flames. And so with Harold's help, I managed to escape the Forest of Illusion. And getting out of the forest is stupid. You just need to go down a pipe, have a mushroom, and grab the key. That is not an illusion, that is a skill check. Anyways, now that Mario and Harold exit the Forest of Illusion, it is now time to go into Roy's castle. No! Harold, come back, Harold. He was so young. And it is only now that I realize that the bottom pixel line of the screen when you enter into a castle is completely transparent. This will bother me until the end of time, and now it will for you as well. Be sure to subscribe. So now that Mario has defeated Roy and blew up the castle and himself, I also managed to put the finishing touches on Yoshi as a whole. The main reason why building Yoshi ended up taking so long is A, it's a lot of pieces, B, this is the first time building the Lego set, and C, Yoshi's tongue actually extends out of the Lego. That took a while to implement. So now Mario is on Chocolate Island. Although it is a bit odd being called Chocolate Island because Mario is on Dinosaur Island and there's not enough of a gap to justify it being called two different things, and there are dinosaurs in the first level. Mario World amazes me, I don't know what to tell you. But what also amazes me is that Harold can absolutely destroy these wannabe dinosaurs. They will never be my goat. Although I must say these pipe cannons never work. One will just shoot you straight to your death unless you're holding right, which I mean you usually are in a Mario game, so I can see the reasoning behind that, but at the same time, like, what? But after that, it's now on to the Choco Ghost House. So while I am solving the mystery of this ghost house, I am simultaneously building the foreground that is going to go on this Lego set. Thankfully, there are no very similar shades of green to this one, so I'm able to put the pieces together in pretty quick succession. However, one thing plagues me. I'm bad at following instructions. So just like how I use the rewind to rewind to death, I use rewind here to fix my mistakes. Although the hardest part of this foreground piece was actually connecting it to the main build. For some reason, the bricks that were supposed to lock into place just weren't locking in for some reason. It might have been the odd angle the Lego set was at, it might have been the odd angle I was at, but this took a surprisingly long amount of time and ended up with some of the older pieces breaking off and me having to replace them. Thankfully, I managed to solve that puzzle, and on Chocolate Island 3, I also managed to solve another puzzle, which is called going underneath the goal, because for some reason that is necessary for progression. Although I must say the developers did leave a lot of hints pointing you in that direction. But now Mario and Harold make their way over to the Chocolate Fortress, which isn't the castle, but simply where they jump on blocks 4 times. And then we make it to Chocolate Island 4, which is one of the weirdest designed levels in the entire game. But it turns out Harold the goat can eat the giant Monty moles. Now Mario and Harold arrive at Wendy's castle, which, oh my god, imagine you're a visitor here. That would suck. I'm sure there's a backdoor entrance, but all the spike traps in here, oh my god. The saw blades as well make it really challenging to navigate, which makes me more disappointed that this boss fight was just more whack-a-mole. But while this is happening, I'm too busy building Mario. Yahoo! The main challenge with building Mario is that the lighting at my setup was not the best, and so trying to differentiate between the multiple shades of red was very challenging for my poor light-deprived eyes. But the plus side of this is that the pieces are very small, so I can add a lot to the set all at once. So much so that I'm now on bag 12 out of 15. And as I continue to pixel paint Mario, I enter the sunken ghost ship and go on a leisurely swim, only to fall a surprisingly large distance and grab a question mark orb which ends the level? Okay, alright, I guess. But oh my goodness, is that a reference to the Minecraft mashup pack Super Mario Edition? That's a reference. As I enter into the Valley of Bowser, I'm currently putting the finishing touches on Mario's pants. This is bag 13 now, and yet again, the most difficult part of this is differentiating the different shades of blue. Thankfully, a lot of the different shades came in different shapes from one another, so it was very easy to tell the difference at a glance. And speaking of at a glance, the first level of Valley of Bowser is absolutely preposterous. Sometimes I look at video game levels and just wonder who made this, and this is one of those levels. I can't believe I got Kaizo blocked in the base game of Super Mario World. But after that, I head to the second Valley of Bowser level, where it is one of the most relaxing levels in the entire game. Wait, what are those feathers? What is that? Harold, you're blue? When did this happen? So it seems that Harold the goat, the Yoshi, decided to turn blue to evolve beyond our human comprehension. And honestly, I'm all for it, because it seemed that he turned blue to match the color scheme of Mario's pants. Because at this point in time, I've completely finished assembling the guy, and I'm now moving on to make the cape with bag 15, the final bag. While I'm currently assembling Mario's stand, the coin path in the ghost house is leading me towards the exit, and leads me to the third level of Valley of Bowser. What makes Harold so impressive now is that since he is blue, when you eat an enemy, he now gains the ability to fly, which I use to promptly skip the entire level. And now there are only 3 levels left: the Final Castle, Bowser's Castle, and Valley of Bowser 4. And since I have Harold in his blue form, I can eat up an enemy and promptly skip the entire level. That is not before discovering a key that I can grab using Harold's tongue and enter into a secret exit, which gives me an entrance to Star Road and a ticket straight to the front door of Bowser's Castle. While this is happening, I am very quickly assembling the last pieces of Mario, that being his cape, which is connected with a swivel so that I can bob up and down when you move Mario and Yoshi by rotating the crank. The big thing that surprised me when I was building the cape was that most of the pieces weren't actually a bright yellow, but rather a darker brown, until I realized that shading exists. And now it makes a whole lot of sense. But you know what else makes a whole lot of sense? Beating up Bowser. The final Bowser Castle is split up into 3 sections, 1 through 4, 5 through 8, and then the final Bowser fight. I decided to go through door 3 at first, which led me into a nice little maze, and then I went through door number 6, which was a nice underwater section. It's a fishbone. I love these guys in Mario Kart World. But that finally led me straight to Bowser, and I must say the vibes for this fight are unmatched. Before I'm able to throw the last plastic metal Mecha Koopa onto Bowser, I put the cape on Mario and prop him up on Yoshi, completing the Lego set. So although I was in the final castle of the final world in Super Mario World, it was not enough to match the speed of my epic master builder hands. It'll take a while for my gamer hands to recover, hence why I built the Lego set second. Could a professional speedrunner beat Mario World faster than I can blink? Yes, and they have done that. But can a pro speedrunner build that Mario World Lego set in less than 2 hours? Honestly, probably 2 if they were really focused. But there's your answer. You can indeed build Mario World faster than you can beat it. I think I'll name this Yoshi Harold. But you knew I was going to do that because you're subscribed, right?